gentlemen, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come here today. I'm Isur Park, a volunteer here at the GIC. Before the talk begins, please make sure your cell phone have been turned off or switched to silent mode. Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever heard about Doori Community Café? It was founded for the activation of civil society in the regional community in Daechon. It provides places for residents and visitors to showcase their talents and to exchange ideas and information through various programs. Here to deliver today's talk on these unique community outreach and co-op development programs are Seung-ho Lim and Maria Lisak. Seung-ho Lim, who is the president of Doori Community Café, has worked to foster civil society for the last 13 years and is now focusing his efforts on community in the local. Maria Lisak is a volunteer project coordinator for Doori Community Café and board member at the GIC, as well as a professor in the Department of Public Administration and Social Welfare at Daechon University. Let's welcome our speakers with a big round of applause.
Hi, it's a very small crowd today, and it's actually quite ironic, right? Because what we want to talk about is actually getting people out in nature again, and here nature is our biggest competition for our seats today. So it's actually good news. So we'd like to just say thank you for coming out. We're going to share about a great part of Gwangju. It's Nambu Daechon region. And we're going to talk about this area through the grassroots organization of Vision-root and what it has done to reinvigorate the neighborliness and the community building, as well as having a closer relationship with the environment in this area. Vision-root has also done a lot to educate the youth and to develop social entrepreneurship skills in the region. And they've done this by introducing co-ops or cooperatives in the community of Gwangju.
Thanks for coming. Nice to meet you. I think you might know about Nambu, but I think there are many hidden gems you don't know. We'd like to share our experience today.
So a grassroots movement is one that's driven by the politics of the community. And that's something that Mr. Lim has been working on for 13 years here in Gwangju. The term implies that it's a creation of the movement of the group, and it's something that is natural and spontaneous in its emergence. And it highlights the differences between like a local organized movement and that movement that's being organized or manipulated kind of by outside sources. So this is something very locally grown. And it's about volunteering. The volunteers in the community give their time to support a local organization. In this case, it was Vision-root with Duri공동체. They had a cafe in Jinwol-dong and opened another cafe, and then we'll talk about several of the projects initiated through that. But other grassroots organizational techniques include like house parties. So Doori Center was kind of a house party atmosphere, right? And putting up posters, educating people. In a way, we built a compost bin along the Greenway, Purungil, that is kind of a live poster of what they're doing. So many projects and many NPOs and NGOs in Korea are actually kind of astroturfing. A business or the government puts on a face that, you know, this is something they're doing to help the environment. And Vision-root is something that very much is emergent from the community and for the community. It's not something from outside that has been pushed onto the community.
What is a social entrepreneur? A social entrepreneur sees a social problem and uses entrepreneurial principles to organize, create, and manage a social business to achieve desired social change. Why is it important? Social business helps individuals help each other Social profit is shared with people who share your values. Social business is important to help change society and solve social problems. A coop is for members' profit. A social entrepreneur for citizens' profit. Profit can be money, ownership, good landscape, clean environment, street security. The mission of Bi전루트 is to solve everyday problems that the citizens of Namgu experience. The mission is also to strengthen the community by improving the quality of life and provide us a more secure social network. Yeah, this is a brochure. There are 100 people in the General Assembly. On the Executive Committee, there are 6 seats. Mr. Gwangju is the chairman of the Executive Committee, and I am the secretary. The community of Doori includes the South Gwangju citizens from neighborhoods such as Jinwol, Dode, and Daechon. Bi전루트 is committed to helping the community to be more vibrant. Our original ideas included exploring Daechon with youth and residents, making a map of village, introducing bike paths, getting to know the town's history and landscape resources, to document residents as resources, operate schools, cooperatives, community meetings for economic research, to provide information dissemination by newspaper, blogs, and Facebook. With the Bi전루트, we wanted to reinvigorate village tiles, create tile murals for wall beautification with youth, install flower pot, build and use greenway compost box weekly with the youth group, explore the neighborhoods and villages, gather and learn, use career guidance courses, village talk, humanities course for housewives.
Bi전루트 provides a local economic solution instead of depending on big business like Chaebol or the big box store like E-Mart. With social entrepreneurship methods and a commitment to co-ops, Bi전루트 helps return profit to local producers instead of the money going outside of Namgu, outside of Gwangju. It helps put a personal face on our food distribution instead of the food industry's impersonal or maybe immoral behaviors of food growing for GMOs or animal raising for our food. We can know who provides our food and ask and see directly how it's being grown or raised. Local solutions also help safeguard the environment as farmers and neighbors actually see what's going on in the environment and can take action to improve some sort of problem. By staying local, we also reduce our carbon footprint because we don't use so many fossil fuels. We can walk or bike to the market. If we demand less from big box stores, they won't come here, thus kind of, ridding all of the fuel that they're using to distribute items all around. Bi전lu트 is a cutting-edge social endeavor that helps return autonomy to locals and for people to depend on their neighbors again. That's something that's disappearing with the rise of consumerism. And also it helps to make a healthier lifestyle too, which gives more attention to the ecology of our homes. So co-ops, I teach public administration and social welfare at a large private university here in Gwangju. And I feel that my students are going to have a really tough time finding a job that they love and that they're willing to take risks for. Over the past 10 years, I've been teaching at different universities around Gwangju and Cheolla, and inevitably, my students want to do one of three things. They either want to be a public official, a teacher for the public school system, or they want to work for one of the chaebol, preferably Samsung or LG. Korea's pretty conservative about risk-taking, and status, a sure thing, following the herd to conform. These are big pushes for people to go into a certain set of jobs, and not sticking out is a very important Korean value. Over the years in Gwangju, I've lamented the lack of small and medium-sized businesses in Korea. They're just not protected by law like the chaebol are protected. Entrepreneurship to me is a way to test your mettle, what you know, and it's a way to achieve your dream. And I believe that volunteer work allows me to be an entrepreneur. I'm a social entrepreneur. So for my students, I'm hoping by example to inspire them so they feel that they have more options than the three main things that they're typically looking for. Since December 2011, I've been volunteering at Doori Community Center. It's a cafe. It's a cooperative that emerged under the leadership of Mr. Lim. They get money from different local government organizations like Node District and things like that to help subsidize themselves. So this money from Node would go to things like the mural beautification project. And there's so many other things, and we'll show you all the different projects. Music, education, culture, these were all the focus to try and get neighbors, working with neighbors, supporting neighbors. Mr. Lim has hoped to get the community mobilized to be more focused on supporting local farmers in the Daechon region of Gwangju. He's since Doori Cafe, he's opened another cafe in Daechon-dong called 남동풍'과, and through these two, he sells co-op produce as well as organic items and fair trade coffee. They've provided pop-up markets at places in residence like Node Lake area, and unfortunately, the co-op movement in Korea is an uphill battle against the preference for consumerism, prestige, and status buys. So many people think the co-op idea is very cute, very quaint, but this program is not really picking up steam, and it's not necessarily seen as a way to promote themselves, to have more opportunity and to live a more green lifestyle. And that's something we're hoping to be able to get people to see, that this is a very key part to have those real values in your life. And you can read more about co-ops. This February, Yes Magazine did a great series on many different co-ops that are actually reinvigorating the US American economy. So you can go and check that out. It's Yes Magazine, and there's so many things, right? Korea has come through so much and become an Asian tiger, and incomes all over Korea have increased. Yet so much money in Gwangju is not spent in Gwangju. So much money actually goes outside of Gwangju. And by doing something like a cooperative, it helps to keep things local and to keep the money here to have a very vibrant economy. A co-op shouldn't be seen as something quaint and passé. Nonghyuk Bank is a co-op. I mean, it's a big bank. That's hardly quaint and passé. It's something that's still revitalizing our community very strongly. And I worry with the president's penchant to want to streamline the food distribution system if a bank like Nonghyuk, a cooperative, can get elbowed out of the way for this big national push by the president. So what region are we really talking about? So my maps aren't that good. They're PNG files, not JPEG files, so please forgive me. So they're just taking from from Google Maps. So Gwangju, we're talking about Gwangju. So we've got Gwangju, and Namgu is the south side, right? And from Namgu, we can take a look. Right here is Nambu-jung, the Namdu district office, and from there we go to the Greenway, which is the little line I've created here. Now the Greenway certainly keeps going off this way, but primarily for our purposes, this is the part of the Greenway that we help to create the compost bin, things like that. From here we go to Murung Mountains over here. So Murung's a big mountain, but here in our region, we've got our own big mountain, and that big mountain is Kundung Mountain, and Kundungsan. So there's so much that goes on, right? It's kind of the mountain between Jinwol-dong and Pungwang-dong, and it's a regular hiking area. Plus, you can go there. There's little signs on the trees, and they're trying to revitalize the animal and bird life in that area. So these are all things that are happening in our region. From here, we can talk about Jinwol-dong, okay, which is where Doori Center is, and the mural beautification element. And here is Daechon. Now, Daechon is quite far from Doori Community Café, right? So it's out in the agricultural region. You can get to it by bus, okay? It's possible, but it's a long ride. But it's a beautiful ride through the countryside where you can see many of these lovely, different cultural and historical areas. Plus the rivers are out there, plus there's bike paths along these rivers. And this map is one of the things that Doori Center helped put together and publish. And they've done that not just in Korean, but we also are working on the English version as well. So there's lots of gems to explore in this area, and that's kind of what Mr. Lim has been doing. So Mr. Lim has been helping people to sell the local food. So the food that's being grown in Daechon-dong is being sold in Node-dong, in Jinwol-dong. And there are little pop-up vegetable stands. So you would go to Node Lake and you would be able to see people out selling vegetables. That was part of Doori Center. Also, any village festivals, concerts, the YWCA, these are all areas that they help to get the produce to these areas for sale. And in Jinwol-dong, mom and pop grocers as well as restaurants were buying from Daechon and Du리 공동체, and they would sell things like peppers, zucchini, soy, rice, and wheat.
Originally, there was one cafe, Doori Community Café, which has been opened since 2011. It has been run by the coop with several people stepping up to run the cafe 10 a.m. to 10 p.m.
All day long.
Yeah, all day long. Of course, the cafe is a space for leisure meeting and exchanges, space for self-expression, sell local delicacies, fair trade coffee, host learning events, do clubs, promote and sell local artists and craft items. The cafe has been built using inexpensive and repurposed materials. In August of 2012, 남동풍'과 opened. It will be the new community cafe location for Daechon.
So there's been 2 cafes that are open that are being run just by the neighborhood. And some of the other things that I helped with was organizing lectures at the cafes. I started volunteering in December of 2011, and I organized things like environmental awareness presentations, what is organic, okay? Having a lifestyle that is volunteer-based. Mr. Lim has also done a significant amount of lecture organization as well. These lectures are in Korean. They're things like learning about Eastern medicine from an Oriental doctor. In addition to these discussions, there were small group discussions on multicultural issues, and this was one of the ways that he helped gather support and content for their newspaper, Hamgune. My pronunciation, Hamgune? Okay.
We also hosted a book club. How many members? Usually 6. How often? Meeting twice a week. What kind of books? English books on multicultural issues, Korean books on self-improvement and job search. Who organized? Maria.
But also, Mrs. Ko Sun-ah did a lot of preparation for these as well.
The movie club has 12 members. They met every week to watch and discuss documentaries. Did you catch a concert in Node last fall? Maybe you pick up some local vegetables while you were there. A series of concerts were organized at Node Lake in spring, from spring to fall of 2012. It was an opportunity to enjoy the lake and introduce the residents to the fresh produce of Daechon region. So
this is a lot, and this is all emerging from the community. And one of the ways that so much was done was by focusing on youth programs. I got involved initially by helping to create a scavenger hunt. The students had to hunt for produce in Jinmo-dong, and they also had to find different community centers. They had to find an after-school care center, a disabled center, and one of the senior centers in Jinmo-dong. That was all part of their scavenger hunt. And then they had to go and buy produce from the local markets that were grown in Daechon-dong, and then they came back to the center, and we made deokguk because it was solal. And so we introduced how they can depend on their own community to be able to make something that's deeply traditional for them. Mr. Lim and the board have also helped the students to create a compost container. We've worked with local artists to make a mural beautification on the wall of Dongsung School. And last year as well, Mr. Lim conducted 5 different tours of Daechon-dong, introducing the youth to these areas with these different cultural and historical landmarks. Getting youth involved in co-ops is so important to regain what Korea is losing with its industrialization and post-industrialization economic focus. By providing experiential learning opportunities for young learners to engage in their environment, this is so important for them to become future citizens that shepherd and take care of the environment, as well as future citizen leaders. You don't have to run for office to be a citizen leader, and that's one of the things that we wanted to encourage.
In May 2012, we built a compost container on the Greenway in Jinol-dong near Doori Café. Students, myself, Mrs. Go, and the executive board all work together on this. We also collaborate with the Greenway organization. We did this to revive the ecosystem of Greenway.
The mural beautification process was initialized with a series of posters projects by the students, and this led into a collaboration with local artists to create these incredible murals and flower pots on the wall of Dongsung School. The students did a photo journal. They kind of went around Jinwol-dong taking pictures of maybe litter and maybe the lack of litter boxes, but also the different flowers they found. People who were using purungil, they would take pictures of the different things they were wearing, who was actually using these green spaces. And they used this to create posters, and then these posters in turn inspired the artists and the murals that they made on the walls.
We planned 4 tours for youth during 2012. We went to the autonomous village of Hyangyang. Do you know Hyangyang? A historical and political center for the village. We went to the Shorin Pochungsa and Yanggwadong to learn about many historical locations and monuments. In July, we went to the Bosaum to learn about how the village was organized to collaborate for grow rice. In October, we went to Wonpajang to listen to farmers' explanation of the harvest process.
I got to go on 2 of these tours with the students, and it was a great opportunity to get out and learn about my local area. I've been in Gwangju, this August will make 10 years, and these are regions that I've never seen before. And it was great to be out there in the fresh air. I could have gone to Seoul for the weekend and gone to Biwon and been in this beautiful environment, but instead I was in this incredibly beautiful and bucolic area right in my neighborhood. And I was able to literally walk in the steps, right, of people from the past in these old historical areas. And of course, Seosaewan, right, on the way to Tamyang is stunning and beautiful, and it's a great literary reminder. But Daechon-dong also has this great political reminder with the Hanyak, with this kind of pre-colonial time of autonomous rule in the agricultural area. So it's great to kind of see something that we do today, co-ops, which really hark back to kind of the deep roots of Korea, which are the Hanyak. So what are the next steps?
This year, we will focus on Daechon region. We will be conducting a training program for young farmers to build coop. We will have 5 training sessions for them. And we will also work on documenting villager stories. There are currently 40 households left in Imam village. Imam village is my hometown. This village will be revitalized into something like Suwanjigu.
So you guys know Suwanjigu, right? It's kind of this new, huge pop-up neighborhood that's got every kind of franchise under the sun in it, right? And it used to be kind of like Daechon-dong.
These villagers' stories are about agricultural life, which disappear more and more every day. Documenting their stories and the story of Songnam-dong is a primary focus of Bi전루트 this year. 남동풍'과 will also be run by 비전루트.
And we'd like to invite you to get involved in Daechon-dong by joining a bike tour that we would like to put together for June 8th. So if you're interested in this, please contact us. Please let us know. We'd like to set up along the bike paths along the river in the area of Daechon-dong, stop by and visit some of these historical landmarks and maybe picnic along the way, taste some of the local delicacies, have some great fresh vegetables. So basically just enjoy the nature and the landmarks of this region. So I hope you'll join us for that. And I think, thank you. Thanks just for listening. You've given me lots of different things about co-ops and social entrepreneurship and Namgu, and you can check out the Vision Route website, right, to get in contact with Mr. Lim about how to get involved. Or if you're an English speaker and your Korean isn't strong enough, you can contact me at gwangjumaria@yahoo.com. And you can look on Facebook soon. We'll start an event for the bike tour. Thanks again.
Thank you very much.
All right, now we will begin the question and answer portion of the talk. If you did not receive a piece of paper when you came in, you can raise your hand and one of our volunteers will give you a piece of paper to write your question on. Please do not raise your hand to ask any questions. We prefer that you submit it in written format. With that, we will start just by asking the speakers something. First, Maria, how did you first meet Mr. Lim?
I met him here at GIC.
Okay.
Way back in the day, there was no GIC room like this. It was only next door. So, and Jeonil building at the time had several different NGOs in it, and the classroom that is in the corner on the other side actually used to be Mr. Lim's office for his NGO community that was also there. So he would have to come through GIC to go to his office. So you know me, I'm not shy. So I'm like, who is this? We must meet them, right? So, so that's how I got to meet him the first time.
Okay. Mr. Lim, you are from Imam Village?
Yes.
Is that in the region that you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
Between the Daechon and
Next.
진월동.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you have seen a big change in your community?
Not yet.
Not okay.
That's about you.
Okay, good. So, after that, we'll say, has the community responded enthusiastically to your programs so far? Either one of you, if you'd like to answer.
So I found out some very interesting things today by talking to Mr. Lim before our program. I think, and it's kind of the same growth trouble that GIC has had over the years. People get all fired up and excited at the beginning. Everybody's there, really big response. And then after 1 month, people are involved in something else. So it has to be this regular type of engagement to get people involved. And the number of creative endeavors that Mr. Lim has put together consistently, it's been amazing to see how he's tried to galvanize the community, but yet, you know, it suffers because people are very keen and then the next new trend emerges. So.
Okay. Do you mostly get young people or middle-aged people or older people participating? Mostly middle-aged people? Okay. All right.
I think housewives were one of our biggest supports because they had maybe the most open time during the day. Right?
Are many of the housewives involved of foreign origin? Are they from different countries, married to farmers out there, or are they mostly Korean? Mostly Korean, okay. And also about foreigners in general, are there many of them involved with any of these projects, like you are, Maria?
So I brought a few people in that were living in the Jinwal area, but most of them, as many foreign teachers, right, they're here for a short time and they move on. So that attrition, and I'm here longer and longer, and it's harder for me to meet new people, right, that are here shorter periods of time. So I kind of was unable to continue to recruit people to get involved in the area, and I think that had a significant impact on the number of programs that were English-based.
Okay. What have been some of the most popular programs so far? You have things like book clubs and movie clubs. Which one has been the most popular?
Scavenger hunt.
The scavenger
Right.
hunt.
It was great.
Scavenger.
So we really got a lot of different parts of the community involved. It's really what community should be, right? So you had kids, you had store owners, we had the elderly center, and we had the disabled center. All of these were contact prior to the actual scavenger hunt. So people were very wonderful and encouraging to the students. So
I'm sure many of the kids really like the scavenger hunt. Speaking of kids, how do you recruit children? Is it through the mothers or through the schools? How do you do that?
We advertised it on the internet and hand out the posters and ask the members.
Okay. Are there any other programs like these in Korea that you are copying, or in other countries maybe? Or is this totally unique and your own idea?
Do you want me to? Mr. Lim has, I've had this same question to him, as some of the people that I've brought to Du리공동체 as well. You know, are there more of these? Because it's really this incredible opportunity. Mr. Lim has been really inspired by co-ops, especially from his trips to the States and things like that. So that has inspired him to re-engage what he knows about his own neighborhood culture of Hangyak and just making the connection there. Like, really, this is not that different, right? So re-engaging that has been his connection. And, wow. Doori Cafe, Namdongpung Cafe, there's other cafes around the city, but they're opening and closing very fast, right? Depending on the interest and the money given. So in maybe the past month and a half, he's several of the places where I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go and find out this place. He's like, oh, that's closed. So, so there are things that are happening, right? The local governments, the district offices are cultivating these social entrepreneurship areas. And Mr. Lin told me that Chungno Saga is slated to be an area that will be encouraging social entrepreneurship enterprises to kind of locate as their home base. So hopefully this is something that, you know, it's new, and in order to get something successful, you have to have some failures. And so these different experiences, the failures aren't really failures. They actually are great educational learning experiences to actually improve and do things better. So I'm hoping that the Korean shame factor does not look at these opening and closings as a negative thing, but as a growing pain. So that's my hope. Yeah.
A lot of these kinds of communities have older buildings and older architecture. Some of it is very unique and very beautiful. Is there any effort to preserve some of these old buildings or anything like that?
Presently, I'm interested. My interest is Daechon region, but I think the old buildings have to preserve and sorry.
So I think that from going to the areas are well taken care of. I don't know exactly who is responsible for the caretaking of those areas, and there are some new areas that have been built to kind of showcase some of these cultural areas. For fall, though, I think that Mr. Lim is not focusing so much on the physical structures, but the knowledge structures. With his village that's going to go through this huge upheaval of development, people's knowledge about the past and about what was there will start dissipating all over. So he's kind of doing the conservation efforts to actually preserve the human knowledge that will be displaced by this change in the area. So I think his focus is maybe less on the physical conservation and more on the people conservation of their intellectual knowledge about the region.
Okay. We have just a few more questions. One of them is about finances. Someone wants to know if the project is financially stable or sustainable. Are your finances in a good position, or is it difficult to sustain money?
Yes.
It's difficult?
Yes.
Social
social entrepreneurship is always difficult, financially difficult.
Okay. Two more. Have any of your projects become self-propelled within the community? Has the community taken your idea and started to engage in it on their own?
That's okay. No. Really, things are not being self-sustained. So that's why Mr. Lim is re-engaging and focusing on the creating a cooperative of farmers in Daechon-dong. People need training. While this concept of a co-op is very old, it's things that people know of but don't know how to do. Right? So they have this intellectual knowledge of it, but they don't have the procedural knowledge of actually how to run, how to set up, how to run, and how to manage difficulties and different relationships within the co-op, right? To make sure there's consistency there. So it's still very much a training program that's going on. And I think that training program will have to go on for probably several years before things become sustainable in that way.
Okay, this will be our final question. If you would like to stick around and ask the speakers something directly about the talk, you can stay for the discussion group, which we'll have after. And so here's the final question. Do you have any plans to expand or to share the idea with other communities?
Recently, local government also interested in co-op and agricultural region. Five in Gwangju has 5 local government: 동부, 남부, 서부, 광산부. All the local government has the plan for
Revitalize.
Yes.
So
by a method of co-op. So I am also engaged the board of.
it's an NGO board that does training for the city?
No.
No?
Local government board.
Council.
Yeah?
City council. City council. Who council?
위원회.
Who will?
Yeah, 위원회.
Local government of supporting for the
Yeah.
many program, right? And you choose to advise for you.
Supporting board.
That's all in English, but I don't understand it. So 괜찮아, we're on the same level. No worries, no worries.
You got this information from the CEO of the board.
I am a member of supporting board. For example, 남부 and 광산.
광산.
And Gwangju Metro City. So,
So, and last year he also did several lectures for training at the NPO Center. here in what, Sangmu?
Sangmu and yes, Sangmu and Namdo and Gwangsangbu.
Yeah. So there's lots of cross-training going on between these entities, and of course training and then the reality of running things, right? And I think that's where they are in their process, is they're training people, but just like here at GIC, right? We have these volunteers and we have interns, but the actual work of GIC is not glamorous. It is really boring, really dreary. And that's what a lot of people find, that, you know, when they're doing the co-op, when they're getting involved in this, it's not such funny work. It's work, and a lot of time it is unacknowledged work, but it's so deeply important. And the relationships that you made, and how you actually really can see your environment changing and improving, that's priceless type of stuff. And this is really, I think, the movement that, you know, Mr. Lim has been doing, and it's just inspiring to be able to work with him. I mean, we've had lots of different events, lots of different things going on, some successful, some kind of breaking even, some kind of like, oh, a little disappointing. But all of that together just gives me more, fortitude to be able to support him in his vision about what he'd like to see happen. So we have a very common value system, even though we're culturally different. And it's really exciting to be able to work on that together.
Okay, let's give them a round of applause for their great talk. And before we present our speakers with certificates of appreciation, we'd like to make a few announcements regarding upcoming events this May. Starting next Saturday on May 4th from 9 a.m. until 1:30 p.m. there will be a GIC tour with Warren, and he'll be going to Mount Mudunsan, and this trek will also be held the following Saturday as well, on May 11th. So make sure you get tickets and get registered soon, because there is a very limited number of seats on both tours. Also, next Saturday here at the GIC in the Daechon-dong building, starting at 10 a.m., there will be two events, a flea market and a bake sale coffee corner. Both events will continue all day until all the items are sold. And also taking place all day will be various live performances, ticket raffles, and souvenirs that will be for sale. And of course, at 3 o'clock there will be a very special GIC talk, which will be given by Dr. Sin about the GIC, the history, in the future. Maria should also be there too. She'll talk about her experience here at the GIC. And also, next Saturday, May 4th, at the First Alleyway restaurant here downtown, from 5 p.m. until midnight, there will be a Save GIC night in addition to Save GIC Day here. 75% of the money that they raise at the First Alleyway will go to the GIC. You should buy tickets for that, and if you do buy tickets, they are good until the end of May, not just next Saturday. So make sure you get tickets for that. And last but not least, on Sunday, May 12th, is GIC's May concert, which will feature local and international musicians performing to help save the GIC. Tickets are on sale now, so please get them as quickly as possible. They're running out. For more information about any of these events, you can talk to some of the volunteers, or you can check out posters that have been displayed around the GIC. So, thanks a lot.
Thank you very much for your wonderful speech. We have a small token of appreciation for you that will be presented by Dr. Sin-ho.
As a GIC director from 1999, for the last 14 years, I know how difficult it is to manage that kind of organization. So I have money, but you have no money. That is a major difference. And then I have a connection of the university. That's another difference. So your job should have been even more difficult than mine here. So I can give financial and then human connection stability to GIC, but you have to manage it by yourself. So I want to pay due respect to you and helping hand of Maria. But Maria has been quite important to GIC, but I didn't know that. She divided her valuable time to the Du리 Maria did not get my permission though. Thank you very much. Because I'm not willing to give this to Maria, that's why I continue to drop this one way or another. Letter of appreciation. It is more than what is written here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The GIC shirt, it is on sale outside as well. And the letter of appreciation to Mr. Lim. Thank you again for your contribution to the community and to us as well.
I hope you enjoyed today's talk. Immediately after the talk, we will have a discussion group. So if you want to participate, please remain here and move to the in front of the group. Next Saturday, May 4th, will be a Save GIC Day. So we will have an extra special talk given by the GIC's very own bike riding director, Dr. Gwangju, and GIC board member Maria Happy Virus Lisak. The topic will be Save GIC and will focus on the past and present and the future of the GIC, as well as volunteering. You definitely won't want to miss it. Thank you for coming out today and enjoying the rest of your weekend. Thank you.